Whether you're stuck in traffic, hitting the gym, or just winding down, we are here to spill the hottest tea from your favorite Bravo shows. From the wildest reunions to the quietest social media unfollows, we cover it all. So welcome back to Reality TV Podcasts and Clips. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Let's get into it on 3, 2, 1. We are heading straight to Florence, Italy with the Beverly Hills cast, where, the architecture might be beautiful, but the psychological warfare is just off the charts.
Oh, absolutely. The dynamics in that villa are, frankly, a masterclass in modern reality TV conflict.
Yeah, and the central tension right now revolves almost entirely around Amanda Frances and Dorit.
Right, which perfectly illustrates the clash between, preserving your corporate brand and feeding the reality television machine.
Okay, let's unpack this because we have Amanda sharing what is objectively a highly vulnerable story.
Yeah, very vulnerable.
She's detailing her past in a cult. She explains how she was recruited by her youth pastors, drawn into this incredibly controlling environment, and ultimately had to physically escape in the middle of the night.
Which is just a harrowing experience to recount.
Right, but the rest of the cast is looking at her like she's a suspect in a true crime documentary.
Right.
Kathy Hilton, who usually just floats above the fray like a bemused ghost, actually dropped a really sharp warning.
She did. She told Amanda to read the room and know your place.
Exactly. And I have to push back on the cast's reaction here. It feels like Amanda is playing a corporate game of chess while the rest of the women are just swinging emotional scalpels.
That's a great way to put it.
Like, why shouldn't she treat them with aloofness? She's in a notoriously toxic workplace. Isn't this just a very smart survival tactic? Like, is it a calculated business move or a genuine trauma response?
Well, you can certainly view it as a survival tactic, but what's fascinating here is how this conflict highlights the unwritten rules of reality TV.
Oh, for sure.
The foundational currency of these shows is extreme vulnerability. You are essentially paid to bleed for the camera.
Wow. Paid to bleed.
Right. But Amanda is an established businesswoman. She built her own brand before she ever held a diamond. So when Erica and Kyle complain that Amanda talks about her life without emotion...
Like she's reading a press release.
Exactly. They are highlighting a cardinal sin you cannot be caught producing yourself.
Which totally explains Dorit's absolutely obsessive reaction. Dorit didn't just express doubt, she took it upon herself to play amateur detective.
Oh, the deep dive she did.
She literally went back and read 357 of Amanda's blog posts. 357.
What?
Who has the time or the mental bandwidth for that? And she concluded that nothing makes sense and accused Amanda of deliberately hiding the real details.
Yeah, but Dorit reading hundreds of blog posts isn't really about finding the truth regarding a cult.
Oh.
No, it's a desperate attempt to maintain the social hierarchy. The veteran cast members feel like Amanda is treating them like clients, managing them rather than engaging with them.
Oh, I see.
So Dorit weaponizes Amanda's digital footprint to force a crack in that polished facade.
And that dynamic makes Sutton Strack's involvement incredibly complex, right? Because Sutton decides she's going to share a room with Amanda specifically so she wouldn't feel isolated.
Right. She offers this olive branch.
But then simultaneously admits she finds Amanda aloof and openly complains that Amanda talks about her business way too much.
Well, Sutton Strack is operating from a place of recognizing the underdog because she's been the odd woman out herself.
True, very true.
But her support is highly conditional. It's less about forming a genuine friendship and more about a veteran recognizing when the pack is turning on a newcomer.
Trying to mitigate the damage without completely alienating herself.
Exactly.
And the chaos isn't even confined to the people actually filming. Rachel Zoe's off-camera life completely invaded this Florence trip.
Oh, the situation with her ex-husband.
Yes. Her ex, Roger, apparently sat down with their 11-year-old son to tell him all about his new official girlfriend, while Rachel was thousands of miles away in Europe.
Which is just, wow.
She was absolutely furious. She ended up calling him an absolute bleep.
That completely shatters the fourth wall. Rachel is required to be present, engaging in group dynamics, but the reality of her fractured family rips her right out of the production bubble.
Yeah, the real world doesn't pause for a filming schedule.
It really doesn't.
And that collision between a cast member's highly guarded brand and their actual messy reality doesn't always stay confined to, petty dinner table arguments.
No, sometimes it's much heavier.
Right. Sometimes the real world breaks down the door in ways production simply cannot edit around. Which brings us to a much heavier reality. For you listening right now, how do you process watching people entertain you on a screen while they are battling profound, unscripted darkness off the screen? Like, at what point does the reality TV spotlight stop being a platform and start becoming a hazard?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it forces the viewer into a highly uncomfortable state of cognitive dissonance. We are conditioned to view these individuals as characters, but the human element constantly rebels against that.
We see that starkly with the devastating situation surrounding the cast of Salt Lake City. Mary Cosby's son, Robert Cosby Jr., tragically passed away.
Yeah, it's just awful.
Andy Cohen addressed the fact that he missed the memorial service, citing commitments with his kids. But Kyle Richards did attend. She described it as incredibly moving and rapturous, noting that Mary was spiritually on one.
We really have to approach this with immense sensitivity because Robert Jr.'s story strips away any of the glossy veneer associated with the franchise.
It really does. He had a very well-documented severe history with substance abuse.
Yeah.
He openly discussed how it began with taking Xanax at a party when he was just 16 years old.
Just 16.
Yeah, which spiraled into abusing prescription painkillers and eventually led to his passing. He had even admitted to Mary that she was the only reason he had survived as long as he did. The burden of living out that level of life or death struggle while your family is part of a global entertainment machine, it's staggering.
It is, and the reality TV ecosystem demands constant public consumption of deeply private pain. It creates this flattening effect.
A flattening effect. How so?
Well, because we consume all of this information through the exact same social media interfaces, the platform strips the gravity from the content.
Oh, I see.
The human brain is forced to process a tragic, heart-wrenching funeral update in the exact same feed as a petty feud or a sponsored post.
Wow, yeah. And that flattening effect perfectly explains the surreal situation playing out with Southern hospitality star Grace Lilly.
Oh, her recent arrest.
Right. She was just arrested for the second time in 3 months on drug charges. The police report detailed that after being pulled over, officers found a container of happy pills in her purse.
Happy pills.
Yeah. She claimed the blue pill was Xanax and the white pills were birth control, but she had no proof of a prescription for the Xanax.
And she was released on a personal recognizance bond. But the legal mechanics aren't the most alarming part of this story. No, it's her psychological compartmentalization in the aftermath.
Exactly. Because after being released, she immediately hops on social media, posts a picture of herself in a bikini with the caption, "Missing Tulum."
It's bizarre.
And when a critic calls her out on the absolute absurdity of posting a thirst trap hours after a drug arrest, she just replies, "The time is now."
That is the ultimate manifestation of the flattening effect. A severe legal issue is instantly repackaged into brand engagement.
It's wild.
The arrest isn't processed as a real-world crisis. It's processed as just another storyline to be managed with a sassy Instagram caption.
We are seeing that same jarring disconnect with Shaws of Sunset alum Mike Show. He just went public with his new girlfriend, Nazi, proudly announcing she was his high school crush.
Putting out this glowing romantic narrative.
Right. But I have to ask, why doesn't he just keep his head down? He has an incredibly dark recent past, including a severe lawsuit from his ex-fiancée over an alleged caught-on-camera assault.
Yeah, that was a very heavy situation.
So why demand the spotlight when the spotlight is what exposed your darkest behavior?
Because the attention economy is entirely separate from a moral economy. For a legacy reality star, irrelevance is a fate worse than infamy.
Oh, so true.
Rather than retreat and reflect, the instinct is to broadcast, to control the narrative.
Which explains why Mike is also out there throwing bitter shade at the new spin-off show, The Valley, Persian style. He posted that his era couldn't be duplicated.
And Reza Farhan fired back.
Oh, he did. Reza said if he were in Mike's shoes watching his old cast move on, he would move to Uganda. The feuds never stop because the ego requires constant validation.
And that need for validation naturally warps how these people form actual human connections. The environment acts as an emotional incubator, drastically accelerating relationship milestones.
Here's where it gets really interesting because introducing a child to a stranger 24 hours before a wedding isn't building a family.
Not at all.
It's like trying to build a house by starting with the roof. It's bound to collapse. Look at Love is Blind Season 10. Amber Morrison is vigorously defending her decision to let her 7-year-old daughter meet her fiancé Jordan just one single day before their wedding.
One day.
One day.
They are attempting to integrate a child into a legally binding union with a man who was a complete stranger weeks prior.
It defies all practical logic. Amber claimed they had an impeccable bond instantly. But the reality is they're already divorcing after just 4 months.
No.
They never even moved in together. And now Jordan is publicly accusing Amber of dragging out the divorce proceedings.
This raises an important question. How does the pressure of a televised timeline override fundamental protective instincts?
Right.
What we are seeing with Amber isn't a genuine connection. It's the illusion of accelerated intimacy born from a hyper-observed environment.
Which is such a stark contrast to what we are seeing unfold on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives with Michaela Matthews and Jace Terry.
Oh, the difference in emotional maturity there is staggering.
It is a night and day contrast. Michaela has been incredibly raw about her separation from Jace. She admitted that due to severe past trauma, her body has essentially been trapped in a constant state of fight or flight since she was 6 years old.
That is a crucial physiological admission. True intimacy requires physiological safety.
Yeah.
It requires a regulated nervous system. You cannot force vulnerability when your brain is literally signaling that you are in danger.
Regardless of what the production schedule dictates. And she's actually taking the painful but absolutely necessary space to heal. She noted that Jace has really stepped up, acting as a patient stay-at-home dad.
Which is great.
Yeah, and while they aren't fully separated anymore, they are actively working on it. Michaela is actually occasionally staying in Airbnbs just to manage her health and get the physical space she needs.
Michaela is setting a boundary against the manufactured narrative of a perfect, immediate reconciliation. She's doing the quiet, untelevised work of healing so that her marriage actually has a chance to survive.
Rather than just rushing to an aesthetically pleasing conclusion for the cameras.
Exactly.
And then pivoting away from doing the quiet work of healing, we have the incredibly loud, messy dynamics on Southern Charm. Craig Conover is currently doing a press tour of apologies and justifications. He's clarifying comments about choosing Charlie over Paige, and he had to come clean about a secret kiss he shared with Charlie in Mexico.
The Southern Charm men operate in an ecosystem that heavily insulates their behavior. It leads to a profound level of stunted emotional growth.
Stunted is the perfect word. Craig also admitted his deep regret over his completely drunken van outburst directed at Sally. But, Craig being Craig, he couldn't just leave it at taking accountability.
Of course not.
He immediately pivoted to throwing shade, specifically grading Austin versus Shep as businessmen.
Right. He referred to Shep as a grandparent investor, essentially critiquing Shep for hoarding his money and investing like a senior citizen rather than taking aggressive risks.
Which is incredibly rich coming from Craig, because we also learned a bizarre detail about his daily life. He literally makes his assistant, Jack, shave the back of his neck for him.
I mean, the sheer audacity required to have your assistant groom your neck hair while you sit back and critique your friends' investment portfolios.
It's the peak infantilization of the male reality star.
It's the ultimate manifestation of the reality TV ego. They are surrounded by a structure that caters to their every whim.
Totally.
But that level of ego invariably leads to fractured relationships. When the apologies stop working and the interpersonal dynamics finally shatter beyond repair, the entire ecosystem of a show is forced to reset.
Which brings us to the ultimate ecosystem reset.
Yeah.
We are looking at a massive cast overhaul coming to Season 10 of Selling Sunset.
Massive.
We have confirmed the exit of 3 major heavy hitters. Chelsea Lascani, Chrishell Stause, and Nicole Young are all officially out.
Losing those 3 individuals simultaneously isn't just a casting shift, it's the removal of the show's foundational narrative architecture.
Yeah, because Chrishell functioned as the primary protagonist, right?
Exactly, the moral center the audience was trained to root for. And Chelsea and Nicole provided the essential driving friction. Without them, there's an enormous narrative vacuum.
And to fill that vacuum, production made a huge move. They secured the highly anticipated return of the ultimate legacy cast member, QUINN.
Wow.
Apparently, filming was actually delayed specifically to accommodate her extensive contract negotiations. They also brought in a new full-time cast member, Tara Sarbaz.
So what does this all mean? It's bringing back a highly controversial figure like Christine, a sign of absolute genius by the producers? Or is it a desperate, transparent move to save a sinking ship after losing your 3 main players?
It is a textbook demonstration of reality television mechanics. When a show loses its moral center, the ecosystem collapses unless an apex predator is immediately reintroduced.
An apex predator, I love that.
Producers know they don't have the time to slowly build up a new protagonist backstory. They need a proven disruptor.
Someone who understands the assignment. Exactly. Someone who understands the financial incentive of being a villain and will alter their real-life behavior to generate immediate conflict. Bringing Christine back might stem from desperation, but mathematically, it's the most effective way to jolt the audience back into engagement.
It really is the reality TV circle of life.
Yeah.
If you lose the heroes, you simply summon the absolute best villain you can afford to keep the cameras rolling.
Yep.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive today. We gathered these threads from the Italian villas to the Hollywood hills and custom-tailored this entire analysis specifically for you to help you decode the psychological forces driving the unscripted drama you follow.
As you continue to watch these dynamics unfold, I want to leave you with this final thought. When you look at the cycle of reality TV, the rushed marriages, the public legal battles, the constant need to protect a brand, you have to ask yourself, are these shows documenting human behavior, or are they actively rewiring the psychology of the people starring in them?
That is a phenomenal question to carry forward. Keep your eyes open, keep analyzing what is presented to you, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.